Marriage, they say, is built on trust. For 5 years, I believed that wholeheartedly. My wife and I shared a decent life, a modest home, dreams of starting a family, and what I thought was a solid partnership. But as it turns out, even the strongest foundations can hide cracks, and in my case, they were about to split wide open. It all started with a seemingly innocent argument about our budget. I've always been meticulous with finances, tracking every dollar, forecasting expenses, but recently things hadn't been adding up. Discrepancies in our joint savings account caught my eye, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Several large withdrawals had been made without my approval or knowledge, and when I confronted my wife, her response was unsettling. "Oh, it's just for personal projects," she said with a dismissive wave of her hand, avoiding eye contact. Her tone was light, almost flippant, but something about her demeanor felt wrong. That night, my curiosity got the better of me. As she slept soundly beside me, I quietly slipped out of bed, opened my laptop, and logged into our banking account. What I found sent a cold chill through my body. Over $30,000 had disappeared, siphoned away in calculated small increments over the past several months. The money wasn't spent on vacations, home renovations, or anything remotely related to us. No, it was funneled into car payments, insurance, and repairs. At first, I couldn't make sense of it. Then the horrifying realization struck. She'd bought someone a car. The next morning, I didn't mince words. As soon as we sat down for breakfast, I looked her dead in the eye and asked, "Who did you buy a car for?" The color drained from her face. "What are you talking about?" she stammered, her hands trembling slightly as she reached for her coffee cup. "Don't lie to me," I snapped. "I saw the transactions. You drained our savings. Who was it for? Or should I say, who was it for?" Her silence was deafening. Then, after what felt like an eternity, she broke. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "He needed help. His car broke down, and he's been struggling. I couldn't just leave him hanging." "Who?" My voice was ice. Her answer came like a slap to the face. "My ex." For a moment, I just sat there stunned. My wife, the woman I trusted above all else, had been sneaking money out of our account to help her ex-boyfriend. "You've got to be kidding me," I finally said, my voice shaking. "You mean to tell me you've been stealing from us to support him?" "You wouldn't understand," she shot back, a defensive edge creeping into her tone. "He's going through a rough time, and I owed him. He's always been there for me." "Owed him?" I practically shouted. "You're married to me. Whatever you think you owed him ended the day we said our vows." But instead of apologizing, she doubled down. "Don't make this a big deal. It's just money, and you can earn it back." Her entitlement floored me. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. Instead, I told her we'd talk later and walked out the door. That evening, I met with a lawyer. As I laid out the situation, my lawyer's expression grew grim. "This isn't just betrayal," he said. "It's marital fraud." He advised me to act quickly. The first step? Freeze all joint accounts to prevent further damage. The next morning, I transferred every remaining penny into an account in my name and froze our joint credit cards, but I needed more than financial protection. I needed the truth. That's when I hired a private investigator. What the PI uncovered shattered whatever remnants of trust I had left. Not only had my wife been financially supporting her ex, but she'd also been meeting him behind my back. While their relationship hadn't turned physical yet, their text messages and lunches were laced with emotional intimacy, the kind reserved for lovers, not just friends. When she came home that evening, I didn't wait for small talk. "I know everything," I said, tossing the PI's report onto the table. She flipped through the pages, her face morphing from confusion to panic. "You had me followed?" "I had every right to," I shot back. "You've been lying to me, sneaking around and funneling our savings to your ex. Explain yourself." Her excuses were pathetic. "It's not what it looks like. He's just a friend. I was being a good person." "A good person?" I laughed bitterly. "You're married to me. Helping him behind my back isn't good. It's betrayal." "You're overreacting," she snapped. It's not like I cheated. You're just being insecure. The fallout. That was the last straw. I told her I'd frozen our accounts and filed for divorce. Her shock quickly turned to fury. "You can't do this," she screamed. "You're being petty." "Oh, I can and I will," I replied coldly. "And by the way, I've already contacted a lawyer about repossessing the car. Since you used our joint account, it's in my name." True to my word, I reclaimed the car within weeks. Her ex was livid, but I didn't care. Let him deal with the fallout. It wasn't my problem anymore. The divorce was a war zone. She tried to paint herself as the victim, claiming I was controlling and paranoid. But the evidence spoke louder than her lies. The judge sided with me, awarding her nothing, not a dime of spousal support, not a penny from our remaining savings. As for her ex, he ghosted her the moment the car was repossessed. 6 months have passed since the divorce was finalized. Rebuilding my life hasn't been easy, but I've learned to trust myself again. People often ask if I regret ending things so decisively. My answer is always the same: no. When trust is broken, there's no going back. And as for my ex-wife, last I heard she's still trying to pick up the pieces. But that's not my concern anymore. If you thought this story was wild, just wait until you hear what happened when my coworker tried to steal my promotion. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss it.